You know someone who makes less than you, maybe a lot less, and somehow they own their home, they have a funded emergency account, they are not stressed every time the credit card bill lands. And you, with a bigger salary, a better title, more letters after your name, are living paycheck to paycheck and wondering where every dollar went. That is not a coincidence. That is not luck, and it is definitely not because they are secretly rich from an inheritance you do not know about. There is a specific mechanism at work. It is mathematical. It is behavioral. And the moment you see it clearly, you will realize it has been costing you, quietly, month after month, for years. Here is what nobody talks about. Income is not the variable that determines wealth. The variable is the gap. And most high earners are closing that gap from the wrong direction. My name is Randy. Here is what most people believe. They believe that making more money is the solution. That if the salary just went up, another $15,000, another promotion, another side income stream, everything would finally click into place. The debt would disappear, the savings would stack, the stress would ease, and that belief is not stupid. It sounds logical. More money in means more money available. Basic math. But here's what makes that belief so dangerous. It is exactly right in theory and almost completely wrong in practice. A 2024 Federal Reserve Board report found that 40% of Americans earning between $75,000 and $100,000 per year would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense. Not 40% of people overall. 40% of people in that income bracket, people who are not poor by any traditional definition. People who from the outside look completely fine. And here's the part nobody ever explains clearly. That same report found that 31% of households earning less than $50,000 per year had at least 3 months of emergency savings. Nearly a third of lower-income households were more financially prepared than the majority of households earning twice as much. How? Why? Because the people making less money, in many cases, learned something about money that higher earners never had to learn. They learned it because they had no choice. When the margin is thin, you manage the margin. When there is room to breathe, most people stop paying attention. And that inattention is costing the average middle to high earner somewhere between $300,000 and $700,000 over the course of a working life. That number seems impossible. Stay with me because I'm going to prove it with math before this video is over. The conventional wisdom says earn more to have more. The uncomfortable reversal is this. Until you fix how you manage what you already have, a bigger salary is just a bigger leak. This is Diane. She is 28. She lives in Columbus, Ohio. She works as a dental hygienist and earns $54,000 a year. She has $8,200 in her savings account, no credit card debt, and contributes 9% of her salary to her 403(b) retirement account. She drives a 2017 Honda Civic she paid off 2 years ago. She does not feel rich. She knows exactly where her money goes every month because she has to. This is Derek. He is also 28. He lives in Columbus, Ohio. He works in corporate sales and earns $91,000 a year, plus commission that pushed his take-home even higher last year. He has $1,400 in savings, $11,300 in credit card debt spread across 3 cards, and contributes 3% to his 401k. Just enough to get the employer match. He leases a 2023 BMW. He does not know where most of his money goes. He assumes the next raise will fix it. Same city, same age, similar expenses in the same cost of living environment. One person makes $37,000 more per year than the other. One person is building wealth. One person is not. And the one building wealth is not the one with the bigger salary. By the time these two people turn 55, the gap between their net worths will be approximately $612,000. Not because Derek was unlucky, not because Diane had advantages, because of one decision, repeated, invisibly, every single month for 27 years. I'm going to show you exactly what that decision is. Let me put real numbers to this. The concept that separates Diane from Derek is called the savings rate. Not the savings account balance. Not the investment return. The percentage of take-home income that actually gets retained and put to work before it can be spent. Diane earns $54,000 per year. After federal and state taxes, her take-home is approximately $41,800. She saves and invests roughly $7,500 per year between her 403(b) contributions and direct transfers to savings. That is a savings rate of approximately 18%. Derek earns $91,000 per year. After taxes, his take-home is approximately $66,200. He contributes 3% to his 401k, which is $2,730 per year. He saves almost nothing beyond that because the credit card minimum payments, the lease payment, and the lifestyle that expanded to match his salary absorb everything else. His effective savings rate is approximately 4%. Now watch what those two numbers do over time. At 18%, Diane is putting away roughly $625 per month into growing assets. At 4%, Derek is putting away roughly $221 per month. Derek earns 68% more income. He is saving 65% less in percentage terms and 64% less in real dollars. Over 10 years, assuming a 7% average annual return on invested assets, a conservative long-term number based on historical market performance, Diane accumulates approximately $108,000. Derek accumulates approximately $38,000. The gap after 10 years, $70,000. And Derek earned more than $370,000 more in gross income over that same decade. But compounding is not linear. It accelerates. Over 20 years at the same savings rates and the same 7% return, Diane reaches approximately $412,000. Derek reaches approximately $131,000. The gap is now $281,000. Derek has earned more than $740,000 more in gross income across those 20 years. And he has $281,000 less in accumulated wealth than someone who made significantly less. Over 30 years, at 58 years old for both of them, Diane's portfolio reaches approximately $1,124,000. Derek's reaches approximately $346,000. The gap is $778,000, nearly $800,000 of missing wealth, despite Derek having earned somewhere in the range of $1.1 million more in gross income over his career. Here is what most people miss. The problem was never the income. The problem was the spread, the distance between income and spending. Diane kept 18 cents of every dollar. Derek kept 4 cents. And compounding multiplied both of those spreads relentlessly for decades. Now let me show you what happens to Derek's debt specifically, because this is the part that should make you angry. Derek has $11,300 across 3 credit cards. The average interest rate on his cards is 24.3%, close to the 2024 national average reported by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. His minimum monthly payments total approximately $284. At minimum payments only, Derek pays off that $11,300 in approximately 22 years. He pays approximately $9,800 in interest alone. That $11,300 of debt costs him $21,100 total, more than double. But here is the comparison scenario that changes everything. If Derek instead paid $500 per month, only $216 more than the minimum, he clears all 3 cards in 26 months. Total interest paid approximately $1,400. He saves $8,400 in interest. And he frees up $500 per month that can now go to work in his investment account. That $500 per month, invested for the remaining 28 years of his working life at 7%, becomes approximately $582,000. He did not earn more. He redirected. The money was already there, it was just flowing to credit card companies instead of to compound growth. Let me give you one more scenario, because the pattern is what matters here. A 2025 Vanguard study of plan participants found that employees who increased their 401k contribution from 6% to 10% of income, a shift of 4 percentage points, accumulated an average of $187,000 more by retirement than their peers at the same income level who did not make that change. Not because of market luck. Because of the math of consistent, automated savings compounding over time. On Derek's $91,000 salary, the difference between 6% and 10% is approximately $304 per month before tax. Less than $304 per month in incremental savings, sustained for 30 years at 7%, becomes $365,000 in additional retirement wealth. He does not need a raise. He needs a reallocation. The gap is not about income. The gap is about behavior. And behavior is the one thing every single person watching this video has the ability to change starting today. Here's where most people get stuck. They look at numbers like these and feel one of two things. Either they feel motivated for about 48 hours and then drift back to exactly what they were doing, or they feel something worse, a kind of quiet shame that makes them change the subject. Because here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the personal finance world states as directly as it needs to be stated. Your income is not the problem, and a raise is not the solution. You already have enough to start. You have had enough to start for years. The reason you haven't started is not financial, it is psychological. There's a concept called lifestyle inflation. Economists call it hedonic adaptation. What it means in practice is this: every time your income goes up, your sense of what constitutes a normal life adjusts upward to match it. The $91,000 earner lives a $91,000 life. The $54,000 earner lives a $54,000 life, and often manages to keep it at $46,000. Not because they have more discipline as a character trait, because the pressure to expand their lifestyle was smaller. The social signals around them pushed less hard. The marketing they encountered aimed lower. The peers they compared themselves to spent less. That is not virtue. That is environment. An environment is something you can deliberately engineer. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you a specific number that changes how you think about your monthly budget completely. A number most financial advisors never calculate for their clients. But first, the comparison that destroys people. Most high earners compare their lifestyle to other high earners: the colleague who drives a newer car, the friend who just renovated their kitchen, the social media feed full of people who appear to be living a bigger, better, more curated version of life. And because income is high enough to keep up, or almost keep up, they do. Month after month, card balance after card balance. Diane does not play that game. Not because she is more enlightened, because the math makes the consequences of playing it immediately visible. There is no margin to hide in. When you earn $54,000 and a $600 impulse purchase shows up on a credit card statement, you feel it. It is not absorbed. It is not invisible. It demands a response. That immediate feedback loop, the one that forces financial accountability, is the thing that high earners accidentally remove when their income rises. And then they wonder why the money disappears. Most people quit the work of changing this before they ever see the results. The change does not feel significant in month 1, or month 3, or even month 12. The results of a higher savings rate are invisible for years, and then suddenly they are undeniable. The people who stay the course are not the ones with the most willpower. They are the ones who set up their finances so that staying the course requires no willpower at all. Here is the reversal. Here is how you close the gap. Not by earning more, but by behaving differently with what you already have. Step 1. Calculate your actual savings rate. Then be honest about it. Take your after-tax annual income. Divide your total annual savings and investment contributions by that number. If you do not know what that number is, open your last 3 months of bank statements and add up every dollar that moved into a savings account, brokerage account, or retirement account. For most middle to upper income earners, that number lands between 3% and 7%. If you are at 3%, your target is 10%. If you are at 10%, your target is 15%. The research is clear. A sustained savings rate of 15% to 20% of take-home income, maintained over a 30-year career, builds 7-figure wealth at median U.S. income levels without requiring a single inheritance, windfall, or above-average investment return. Step 2. Automate the savings rate increase before you feel it. Do not rely on what is left over at the end of the month. There will be nothing left over. There never is. The behavior change that actually works is this. Increase your 401k or 403b contribution by 2% immediately. On a $91,000 salary, 2% is $152 per month before tax, closer to $107 after tax adjustment. You will not notice $107. Your lifestyle will not change, but your trajectory will. Then increase by another 1% every 6 months, ideally timed to coincide with any raise, so you never experience the increase as a reduction. By month 18, you have moved your contribution rate from 3% to 6% without your lifestyle changing in any meaningful way. By month 36, you are at 9%. You are closing the gap. Step 3. Apply the debt acceleration formula. Take your highest interest credit card balance. Calculate what a payment of 1.5 times the current minimum looks like. On a $3,800 balance at 24% interest with a current minimum of $95, the 1.5x payment is $142. That additional $47 per month collapses the payoff timeline from 19 years to approximately 31 months. It saves approximately $2,900 in interest. When that card is paid off, roll the entire payment, the full $142, onto the next card. This is the debt avalanche method, and it is mathematically optimal. You are not finding new money. You are redirecting money already leaving your account. Step 4. Find the number that is hiding inside your subscriptions and recurring charges. Here is the specific number I promised you earlier. The average American household is paying for 4.2 active subscription services they either forgot about or no longer use, according to a 2024 Chase Consumer Spending Study. At an average of $18.40 per forgotten subscription, that is $77 per month, $924 per year, flowing out of accounts silently, invisibly, doing nothing. That is not a lot of money in isolation. But $924 invested annually at 7% over 30 years is $92,000. $92,000 built entirely from money you did not know you were spending. Set aside 1 hour this week. Pull your credit card and bank statements. Flag every recurring charge. Cancel every one you cannot name without looking. The hour you spend on this exercise returns, on average, more per hour than almost any other financial action available to you. Step 5. Engineer a lower comparison environment. This one is not numerical, but it is necessary because without it, the other 4 steps erode over time. The research on this is consistent. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that financial behavior is more closely correlated with peer spending norms than with income level. You will spend to match your environment, not your income. This does not mean cutting off your social life. It means making deliberate choices about where you spend time, whose financial decisions you treat as a normal baseline, and what content you consume about money. It means following channels and communities where building real wealth is the norm, not channels where the aspiration is a lifestyle that requires you to destroy your balance sheet to maintain. Diane does not make less than Derek because she has smaller ambitions. She makes less and has more because her environment never told her that spending more was a reasonable substitute for building more. Let us return to Diane and Derek at age 55. Diane, now 55, earns $71,000 as a senior dental hygienist. She has been investing consistently for 27 years. She maintained an average savings rate of 17% throughout her career, including years where it was hard and years where it was easy. Her investment portfolio sits at approximately $891,000. Her home has $140,000 in equity. She carries no credit card debt. Her total net worth is approximately $1,040,000. Derek, now 55, earns $128,000 in a regional sales director role. He got the raises, he got the promotions. His career looks, from the outside, like a success story. He increased his 401k contribution to 6% about a decade ago, but never went further. He paid off the credit cards twice and ran them back up twice. His investment portfolio holds approximately $218,000. He has $67,000 in equity in a home he refinanced to cover expenses in 2031. He carries $14,800 in credit card and personal loan debt. His total net worth is approximately $428,000. The gap between them is $612,000. Derek earned, cumulatively, approximately $1.4 million more in gross income over those 27 years than Diane. He has $612,000 less in wealth to show for it. Both of them were reasonable people making reasonable decisions. The only variable was the gap. And who paid attention to it? You now know something that most people with higher incomes than you will never know. Because nobody states it this clearly, and the financial industry has no particular incentive to. The variable that determines long-term wealth is not income. It is the distance between what you earn and what you keep. And that distance is something you control, starting with the next deposit that hits your account. Here's my question for you, and I want you to answer it in the comments. What is your honest current savings rate? The actual percentage of your take-home that you are saving or investing every month. You do not have to give the full picture. Just the number. Because seeing it written down is often the moment the work actually starts. If you enjoy videos about building real wealth and escaping financial stress, subscribe to Randy Talks Money, and I will see you in the next one.